Hello and welcome to today's review, finally on the Mous Motorcycle Mount. So it's taken me a little while to get this review done. You can see on the channel there will be a review on the case itself, living with the case on the day-to-day, and then a separate review on the mount itself. And this video is my combined thoughts of living with this motorcycle mount, the Mous alternative. So we're gonna really just fast forward for those guys who have come here to say, simple question, do I want to go between Mous or quad lock? The difference between the two is so minute. The difference between Mous and quad lock, there really is not a lot between it. So, you know, either or will keep you very happy. As we go along with the video, we're going to go into the little things that maybe quad lock does better, that Mous does better, etc. But they are really quite minuscule in comparison. And I just got to say a massive kudos to Mous, because quad lock is the OG. It's one of the first motorcycle mounts that's come out. Mous is the new boy in town, and basically for me to turn around and say that the new guy has in effect come on par with the leading motorcycle mount out there is no little feat, I gotta say. So let's start with the real basics. What is a motorcycle mount? Well, a motorcycle mount is exactly that, how you connect a mobile phone to a motorcycle via a mount. Now, why you would want to do that: if you own a sports bike like I've got here, chances are you're probably going to be riding in leathers and you don't have pocket space to put your phone away. That's one simple reason to have a motorcycle mount, is that your phone is always going to have place on your bike. Another reason being, if you listen to music while you ride, yes, you can on this R here, for example, I can connect media to my bike, but to be fair, using this jog dial system and everything, it's an absolute pain to control music, whereas it's just far easier to just here, I've got my little controls, I can play, I can skip, I can go back. Now, you could argue that touching your phone while you're riding is an offence. Yes, you're correct, I'm not going to disagree with you. If you run a Sena unit, you can press on the back and it will activate Siri, and in doing so you can then give instructions like skip this track. Now, the thing is though, I like to have my phone in front of me where I can see what Siri is doing on there, because I might say play music by Expedition, for example, and all of a sudden it's dialing my X and it's given me forewarning that I can quickly go take my motorbike off a bridge and kill myself. So, you know, it's good to see your phone on there and actually see the instructions that you're giving coming through. And then the other main reason why we have a motorcycle mount is so we can run sat-nav. So really, you know, it's good to have the mount on here where we can see the sat-nav giving us directions where we need to go. Again, bikes do have that sat-nav ability built in, but if you're used to running apps like Waze, Google Maps, etc., it's so much easier to have it in front of you. And again, you know, you can flip it into landscape mode, have it there and have your full nav running that way, or again you can just bring it back and put it into portrait mode and have it running this way. So having a mount in front of you is quite beneficial. So who is Mous up against when it comes to mounts? I would say realistically there are only 3 mounting systems out there at the moment that are worth anybody's time, and that would be quad lock, which is the one I'll be referring to quite a lot in this video, and then SP Connect. The reason SP Connect doesn't work for me is because SP Connect, you can't flip between portrait and landscape without the use of a tool. Now, as I ride along, I like to switch between portrait and landscape for sat-nav. So for me, that's why SP Connect had to be ruled out. Now, there are other mounts out there. There are various ones from Oxford. Ram Mounts has quite a few, but they're really quite basic mounts where they just really hold your phone. They don't come with their own cases, or the cases are rubbish. So for me, the case, there is an individual review on the case on the channel, and there's a link up on the top screen now. I think the Mous case is better than the quad lock case. it's slimmer, it feels better in the hand. Full review on that there. So I do think that mouse has the edge when it comes to case. But for me, the most important thing was the ease of actually taking your phone in and out of the case. On a day-to-day, I do not use any other case apart from the Apple leather case. So for me, the motorcycle case is only used on the bike, to which being able to take your phone out of the Apple case and put it into the mouse or the quad lock, I found that mouse was easier to get on and off of the phone, and also I found it much more intuitive in that sometimes with the quad lock case you think it's in but a corner isn't actually being pushed down. I've never had that issue with the mouse. The next big thing is the ease of putting it on and off the bike. So you see here there are 2 buttons, but you actually only need to use one to actually release it. So I found mouse is just so much easier to just take on and off the bike. You just literally just find the grooves and put it there, whereas the quad lock twist and lock I found a bit more difficult. However, it is worth mentioning with quad lock you can press and hold the button and twist it to go from portrait to landscape actually on the fly, whereas I would not feel comfortable actually physically taking it off and putting it landscape like this when I was riding. So with a left hand, gloved or not, you know, I don't want to be, you know, doing something like that, you know, at any form of speed. It's easy enough while you're here on the side to find it, but when you're riding along, yeah, I wouldn't want to be doing that. So quad lock's better if you need to change it on the fly, but that said, you probably wouldn't. The look of the mounts themselves, especially when the phone's not on there, I mean, that's subjective. It's art, really. I think quad lock, probably I have it on the stem mount down here, and where it sat recessed into my bike, I think it probably looked better when it was off the mount, but to be fair, they're few and far between, and most people run a mount system like this, so really that's down to the individual user. Now, a lot of people talk about bounce. Now you can see here, I can see perfectly what is on the screen. The mouse comes with a built-in vibration dampener, and with the others you do have to pay for the vibration dampener as an extra, so it's good to have it included in mouse. You just don't have to worry. I mean, yes, it does bounce a little bit more if you're actually tapping it, but I would say when you're riding and you're actually looking down, I can't tell any bounce at all really from this and the quad lock system. The vibration dampener, absolutely no issue whatsoever with that. I have tested on multiple bouncy roads, accidental potholes that I've hit, and speeds of 150 plus miles an hour. The camera on my iPhone Pro 14 is absolutely fine, so the vibration dampener is clearly doing its job. So the question is, which do I prefer? Well, like I say, they both, quad lock and mouse, do the identical job of putting your phone in front of you on your bike. Mouse is easier to clip in and out, it's easier to change the case in and out, and for me that is the slight edge for me to want to go with mouse. For you, it may be that makes not a blind bit of difference, and so you want, you know, the ability to have different colour buttons, whereas at the moment the mouse only has this turquoise on the case and the mount itself. They are so close between each other. The job of putting it on your bike, they're level pegging. And then of course price. So at the time of recording, a mouse bundle, which is the case that you see here and the mount to your bike, is $59.99 or $69.99 if you want the clear case. Do note that the mount includes a vibration dampener, so really it's 60 quid all in, don't need to pay anything else. If you do want to cut your cost a little bit and not have the case, say you've got a case from previous, then it is £50, but to be fair, I don't think you will have a case from previous. You're going to need this bundle here. They do have a 45% off at the time, but they have been running that for well, as long as I've been testing the product. Whereas with quad lock, so I've gone with the handlebar mount, which is similar to the mouse mount. I've gone with a vibration dampener, and I've also gone with the MagSafe case, which is an extra £10, and we're coming in at £83. So it is a higher price point than the mouse. Another question is there a charging version of the mount? There isn't currently. The only mount available from Mous is the one you see in front of you. There is no wing mirror mount, there is no stem mount, there's this mount only. Will that change in time? I'm sure it will do. That said, personally, I hate those charging mounts. I think they look awful because of the massive mount that they got to have. Plus, to run the cable to your battery, usually you got to take your tank off and everything else. It's a right faff. I'd much rather carry a battery pack, such as the Snap Wireless battery pack. Find a link up in the top corner. So in summary, I think the mouse case is pretty much everything you need. If you want a cheaper alternative to quad lock that is probably marginally better in certain areas such as case feel, ease of putting in and out of the case and on and off your bike, the mouse is the one to go for. If you want something that's been around longer with the infrastructure, then quad lock is the old daddy. But again, mouse, absolutely fantastic first venture into the motorcycle mount. And if I could convince all the riders in my crew to use mouse, it would probably be the one that stays on my bike. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope that review was useful. A like and a subscribe would be greatly appreciated, and of course comment below if you have any questions. I'll be happy to answer them for you. Thanks again.